something very important that is much particular and essential for a student life, and what we call time and patience. Okay, so before you can graduate, you would have gone through a lot of educational time period classes before you get to a particular point in time. And so this wasn't achieved overnight, but it went through a process. And the process, that is what we called time. And time is all about patience, running through the rubrics, the steps, and getting to that point. All right. And so today I want you to conscientize your mind on the concept of patience. A lot of students are very patient and are going through the process, but have not realized that they have been patient and they have to capitalize on their patience. Now, someone may ask, how do you capitalize on your patience? And that's what I'm going to talk about now. If you're schooling and you are in your first grade or your first class, one of the things that you go through is that you admit and accept the class in which you are and learn and obey the instructions. Do your assignment, go to class, attend groups, and seek for advices. These are things that naturally the mind comes to accept and does not refute, because system created that yes, you have to go through. And so at that beginning or at that point, the mind comes to accept that yes, I need to be patient to go through this. And at that moment or time, the mind, the individual, is not worried about how to scale up, how he or she is going to build up in the shortest space of time. And so the level of patience, the level of admission becomes louder, becomes meaningful. It doesn't become like a pressure. It's become enjoyable because the mind has already been set to that standard. Now, within the whole process, the student understand that I need to be patient and learn through the process to get this concept in order to pass this examination. So it becomes acceptance, and naturally patience occur. Okay, naturally patience occur. You don't have to push it, you don't have to work for patience, you don't have to even think about patience. So naturally at that point in time, nothing of faster life or fast to skill happens to the student, because it's an admission. And that's one of the things I want you to pay close attention to. The question is, why is it that in school or from the beginning days of the school, you don't have any rush, you don't have any pressure of scaling up, but after school there is that kind of pressure? So it means that we can also treat life after school to be more patient, to accept, admit, and walk through the process. If it is not being analyzed, that is when you consider the short period of time after school to be a pressure mode. So patience, stick to it and stick to time. After school, you assume that you are starting all over again. Starting all over again in the sense that you are now in the real world and the real educational world. And that is where you get experiences. You get some kind of work experiences. You get some kind of advices. You get some kind of coach. So it's a whole new environment on its own. But don't forget that as at this point, you're going to see a lot of friends scale up quickly, a lot of friends becoming rich overnight. And it's the same thing that happens when you are in school. In school, you realize that there are some friends that naturally will be passing exams quickly, will be passing every class test quickly, will be successful in the shortest space of time. The same thing happens to after school. You realize that there are some friends scaling up easily. But remember that when you were in school, when your friends were topping the class, having the best grade, you appreciated and admitted that, oh yeah, that is fine, it's allowed. But it is only when after school life start and then some are scaling up that you decide not to accept, because the mind assumes that or tells you that you are a bit late. It's never true. I want you to picture these two environments: life and life after school and school life. Anything that happens in the school system happens in the same thing in the life system. The only difference is that one happened with a lot of experiences, one happened with short experiences. When I talk about experience, I'm talking about real life experiences. So patience, you need to train your mind to accept the fact that you need to be patient to scale through. Otherwise, this is what you bring yourself, and you have to be ready. One, you bring a lot of stress to yourself, stress to your mind. You bring a lot of doubt, self-doubt to yourself. You bring a lot of pressure to your mind and your whole being. Yeah, my name is Frank. I'm an women counselor from Ghana. Yeah, Linda, Lindo, you're welcome. Hi. So you need to tell your mind to accept moments, appreciate it, and scale through. Even when you finish school and you are trying to find a job and you are not getting the best job, assume that to be a classroom where you are trying to learn a particular subject which you are not getting it at the moment. Sometimes in classroom there are some courses you don't pick up easily, like math. You pick up slowly, you learn slowly, and you rise to the skill. So you assume life to be that way so that you don't bring sickness, depression to your mind. Patience is the master of life. If you are not patient and you don't stick to the time, you don't stick to the life courses, you assume that you have never done anything for yourself. You assume that you are just nobody. You assume that you have just failed just because you were assuming that you are going to scale up in a short time, which is obviously wrong. So learn to be patient. Learn to accept patience. Learn to accept the instances as you work and build yourself. Now in the classroom, when you accept the moment there and you keep working, at every point in time in the term, your grade changes. Sometimes in the time you get an A, you get an 80, you get a 90, you get 100. It means that you have accepted to grow within the space. It means that even with life after school, you need to accept to grow within the life space so that you don't put pressure and you don't destroy your subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is very powerful. That any feedback you give it, that's what it picks. The energies you feed it, that is what it picks up. So you are going to allow yourself to learn through the life experiences, to gather experiences and scale up. When others are rising, buying the best of houses, making it big, you shouldn't be troubled, because when you were in class and your friends were topping the class, you were not bothered. You were only concerned about how you will also get there. So in life, you should also be concerned about how you are patient and be concerned to what and where you will do to get to that point. Now, when you are able to do this, you save your mind a lot of pressure. You save your mind a lot of diseases, depression. You save yourself some time and you will scale up. Because the point is that as you learn, as you gather these experiences, one day, overnight, you'll be able to scale up quickly. So it is very important for a student to start practicing patience, learning to accept patience and learning how to accept time and its process. Because whatever you do within time, you will get there. As we speak now, we are talking about success, how to scale up. Some years to come, you will not talk about this again because you will already be gone past that stage. You don't need to worry about success. You don't need to worry about money. You don't need to be worried about a lot of things. Everything happens within its time period. So patience is virtue. Patience is very important. And that is what every student should know. My name is Frank. I am a Roman counselor for BYU Pathway. We are still registering students for upcoming courses, Block 5. If you are still interested, you want to enroll in this program, you can join us. You can contact me, we will help you register, and then you start learning. You will start having your online courses. So back to what I was talking about. Patience, someone will say, how do you practice patience? Okay, this is how you practice patience. Patience is number one, you have to learn to admit the circumstances. Yes, quiet on the set, I am very well. I hope you're also very well. So one of the ways to practice patience is one, learn to admit. Because in class, you admit. Even when you get a grade 80, 90, you admit and work on yourself to become better. So one of the ways to practice patience, I'm using the school as a scenario, is to learn to admit circumstances. When you admit the circumstances, the only thing you have at the back of your mind is keep working. Because in class, when you admit or accept that grade that comes, the only thing you do is you keep working to improve your marks in the next test that will happen or come across. Okay, so one of the ways to practice patience so that you don't bring depression, pressure, sickness, self-doubt, looking down upon yourself. The only way not to bring all this thing to yourself, which can affect your subconscious mind, is to admit time, admit patience naturally, and work within the process. That is the first one. Second thing also, after you have admitted the time, admitted that yes, this is life and you need to be patient, what can you be doing? Two, you need to be learning in the sense that when you are in class and you get a 57 and you feel like this grade was a very bad grade and you want to scale up to, let's say, A plus or B minus or a B plus, what you do is that you learn. So when you come back from school in life, what you have to do is that you have to start learning. Learn from friends, you can learn from companies, you can take about 1 month, 2 months internship. You can just look for any company around which is aligned to your interest area. Go to that place and seek for 1 or 2 month experience, work experiences, gather them. Like for instance, currently I have a friend who is with a multimedia company. They have a lot of gadgets, cameras that they use it for multimedia works. Because in school he didn't get the chance to have access to this advanced machines that are used for multimedia. He has sacrificed his lifetime, let's say some short time of his life, to learn and use the company's materials, use the company's equipment, machines, to get real hand-on experiences. Because in the school, it's all about theory and a few practical. So when you come back from school, you don't have the practical or you don't have the experiences like that. So he has just sacrificed his time for a short while to learn and get that experience. And that's what you can also do. After school, when you come and you think you need some experiences in some auditing firm, you can apply for this microfinances, micro banks. Try to work with them for a month or two, gather experiences. Even if you are not paid properly, well, you can just gather the experiences and move up. Because in so doing, experience is all about money. Experiences are all about money, and experiences will also help you to scale. If you don't have the experiences, you will scale, but you cannot be able to manage your spaces very well. You need the experiences to be effective and efficient in wherever place you find yourself. So, like I'm saying, patience is the virtue for success. So you need to learn to be patient. And in learning to be patient, you need to learn to admit. And in learning to admit, what can you do within the time? You need to learn to learn. And in learning to learn, you need to seek for experiences from companies, even if there will be money that much, whether the salary is good or bad, you need to try to learn, take that opportunity, and build that experiences. When I completed University of Education Winneba 2020, I wanted to go and then do my masters in my field area, but fortunately for me, I got the chance to work in a school, to be a school administrator. In fact, when I got there was someone who was a school administrator. And so I had never tried anything like a school administrator. So I didn't know what it was to be a school administrator. So I talked to my big brother who is in Canada. He said, okay, Frank, since you are home and you are now back from school, I think you should take the administrative work and then learn from it. So I took the administrative work, and I was a school administrator for the school for a year. Now, when I was in the school learning to be an administrator, I learned a lot of things. One of the things that I learned was time management. In fact, I never knew that administrative work was very difficult. You need to be the first person to report to the school environment, and you need to be the last person to leave the school environment. You need to make sure that the school's utilities, light, water, everything is turned off before you leave the school environment. You need to make sure that every student or child has left the school. Every parent has come for their child before you leave the school. So sometimes I go early, 6 a.m., and I come back like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. It wasn't a small task. But now, this wasn't something I wanted to do the rest of my life. I mean, I never knew administrative work would be this difficult. Now, when the school needs errands to go, you'll be moving with car up and down, traveling in all the shops and malls to get utilities for the school book shops, school book materials, souvenirs. I never knew administrative work was that kind of difficult. In fact, that short moment in time with them, I also learned how to talk to people, how to communicate. It took a lot of my lifetime. I was feeling heaviness because I was already tired, but I got a lot of experiences. So after a year, I just told them that, okay, I want to go and then continue my education, my master's, and I left them. I gathered that experience. So for now, today, even though I have not studied to be an administrative whatever, but because of that experience, if you put me in any administrative position, I'll be able to handle it properly because of the short experience I got. So now, what I'm trying to say is that as a student, you need experiences to keep going, because whatever experiences you will come back to help you. Now on my CV, I have on it a school administrator for so and so school for about 1 year. So on my CV, I have an administrative role on it. So if you're a business owner, you want to employ me, or you look at my CV, so okay, this guy is very good, I think we should give him the job, we should give him the try, because I have gotten experience within time and patience. So whatever you are doing today, just appreciate it and be patient with it, because you're going to be successful unless you are lazying around. But whatever you're doing now and you're pushing your effort in it, is going to help you, and it's going to help you in a long way. Trust me, it's never going to go waste. So I want you to appreciate that time and every effort that you have leveled now, because these are experiences you have gathered on your own. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end this live. I'm going to end this talk. My name is Frank, a Roman counselor. I work with BYU Pathway. I help with the registrations. As I leave, if you still want to register for Block 5, I'm just a call away. You can always contact me. I'll help you to register. I hope that you learn patience so that you are not depressed, you don't have pressure, you don't become sick, and then you are well and prepared for the upcoming future that you are preparing for. See you, and then have a good time.